My video about the myth of innocence and how killing any person will cause a werewolf's eyes to turn blue led to a somewhat odd comment thread. I say this is odd because we're discussing a supernatural show where the primary creature is most likely the product of a god's curse, and this viewer didn't want me to use the word soul, as in, when I say killing always damages the killer's soul, this person suggested I substitute the term psyche for soul. Something about taking the religious element out of the conversation so as not to confuse the secular among us. I personally think the real reason for any confusion is because so few people can actually understand the concept that some things are objectively wrong. After 100 years of philosophers and psychologists encouraging our big brains to justify actions that are universally understood to be wrong, just so we can feel better about ourselves, it is nigh on impossible for Western society to grasp that our behavior has consequences beyond the obvious. But even in the most secular definition, psyche is all in your head, whereas the concept that I'm talking about as a soul is the literal animating energy of the human body. Again, we're talking about a supernatural universe. All the concepts within the Teen Wolf universe are either religion based or were created by our ancestors in response to religious concepts. But that has nothing to do with my concept of the Teen Wolf soul. Let's go back to the creation of werewolves. Zeus used his lightning to transform Lycaon and his sons. He used energy in the form of his lightning and applied it to their existing animating energy. The commingling of electricity, the volts produced by the human body, and that from the fingertips of the god combined to create a wolf. This literally had nothing to do with their psychology other than the fact that Zeus thought it was funny, because if Lycaon was going to behave like a predator, then he should have a form that suited that task. Nothing at all to do with Lycaon's brain or psyche. Lycaon still thinks of himself as human. How do we know this? Because he had the presence of mind to seek help.
The part that's lesser known is how Lycaon sought out the Druids to help turn him back to human. The belief was that the ancient Druids knew how to shapeshift. They did teach them how to shift back and forth.
The Druids taught Lycaon and his sons to reassert their original energy and suppress the wolf energy. It works like a charm, but the wolf didn't just go away. That energy is still firing through their bodies all the time. And when the moon is full, it sometimes becomes too strong for the human to suppress. But again, this is all spark and electricity. I call it a soul because that's simple and universally recognized as a term for the animating force of any sentient being. And we're watching a universe shaped by centuries of human religions come to life and on display weekly. So it just makes sense to couch it in those terms. Soul and psyche are not synonymous. The mind doesn't control the animating energy of the human body, or actually even fully control the sentience that makes us individual humans. It's the other way around. The energy of the body powers the brain and all that higher thinking. So when I say that any killing of any sentient being will damage your soul, I don't mean you're going to feel bad. It's not what happens in your mind that matters, or what you thought about killing that someone.
Bit of your soul darkening it, dimming the once brilliant golden yellow to a cold, steel blue, like mine.
What matters is how the act of killing fundamentally changes you. In the case of werewolves, it brings the human a bit more in line with the beast, which could be why the light in the eyes changes and why I say all killing damages your soul.